Sure it's not somehow doing it. Minimize that. See if I can get rid of that thing. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. We're about 10 after, so as good a time as any to get started. Welcome again. Glad to have all you join us today for the start of the season webinar, March 2nd. Some of you had some games today. Some of you are anxiously waiting your first games this week. So we're excited to get this kicked off and to go over a couple of these different items. Maybe at some point this will actually, there we go. Now it's going. So again, I'm Dan Reading. If you don't know me, even if you do, I'm actually still Dan Reading, but just give you a little agenda of what we're going to talk about today. The plan today, we're going to talk about a few things, just keeping up with the season. We're going to be talking as well about the mentoring. Med's going to talk a little bit about that and some other comments from Hunter Jorgensen on game day and some of the way you can prepare for that. And then we'll be closing it off really just going over one of the specific rules and then doing some video clip review. The goal is to kind of keep these focused, have a couple key points that we can take from what's we've been getting information on, what we've been seeing people do. Let me admit these folks in. Sorry, I got to do this way because hosting was, we just had a little faux with how it was set up. Um, but we'll just focus on a couple things. We want to give some chance for each of you to get a little more exposure to some of the things you'll see on the field. We know we have a lot of variety of referees out there, so we want to make sure that we're not going too deep, but that we're also not keeping it too simple, ways that we can all keep fresh. So with that in mind, let's keep on going. Uh, so first thing about staying ready, I just want to reiterate this point. We've already had most of March assigned. And we've had quite a few declines come back, especially up north. Big thing is make sure that you are going over your calendar regularly. Set a weekly time, go in there and update your blocks, right? I have it set on mine for Monday morning, right? Monday morning at 9 o'clock, I know that I need to go and check my blocks, update things. If I get another assignment, then I go and I block out that on other calendars. I know some of you are using multiple systems, so it can get a little tricky. Find something that works and just stick to it. Especially this is important if your work schedule changes. If you're not able to get out of work until 5, or if you're suddenly able to get out of work earlier, that's especially important because I have a lot of games that start at 3:30 or 4. So please be aware of that, and then keep on track of your schedule because if you're leaving those spaces open, that's basically what Matt's looking for to be able to say, okay, I'm ready to take a game. If you have the box says ready to be assigned, checked, and you have an open schedule. This one, again, just talking briefly about staying ready. I can't speak how much what you do to prepare physically and what you put into your body will help you with how you perform on the field, guys. We could spend a whole webinar on this. We're not going to. We're going to take 2 minutes on this, really. But find ways to keep yourself fit and active throughout, in between assignments and throughout the day, right? Or just throughout the week. If you cold start every game, I know plenty of you can do it. I can do it. But I always pay for the next day. I know a lot of you won't. It will prevent injuries. It will make you more mentally fit for the game if you are keeping yourself regularly physically ready for the game. And when you focus on what you're putting in your body and actually doing things that kind of help your body use its energy better as opposed to just getting sugar highs right before a game, it'll make you perform better. And it's whether you're running, whether the way that you're able to focus in on what's going on the field, your ability to get into the game right away from the start, right from the first kick, that matters. One thing that I can't speak highly enough, stretching. Okay, if there's nothing else you do, stretch before and stretch after a game. It will make a difference. I'm talking about a warm up too, right? A little stretch, maybe a few sprints, a little jog, things like that. Get your mind active, get your body ready. Because when you cold start, too often what I see, even with young referees who can get away with zero stretching, zero warm up, zero cardio, any of that, what I see is that there's this time in between when they start and to when they're finally kind of like in the game mentally and physically. They kind of have to catch up to it, even if it takes them just a few minutes. You don't want that. I can remember a game I had 40 seconds in, I had a possible red card in. Turned out to be yellow, but still, right? That's not a time when I want to be 5 minutes to get ready for the game. So Get yourself in shape or find ways that things that you're doing to keep yourself ready for the game. It'll prevent injuries later on in the season too. That's the thing. Some of you guys are picking up 6, 8, 10 games a week, however many you're doing. By the end of the season, those add up. And if you're not taking care of yourself now, by the time we get into April, you're gonna, you run the risk of a higher risk of injury. Rules. This one's a big one. One of the best ways that you can be credible with coaches, with players, with your fellow referees is going to be in your knowledge of the rules of the game. So take time to learn the rules, right? Take time every single week. Find something in your schedule. Put it on your calendar if you have to say that I'm going to, maybe I'm going to read for 5 minutes of the rules, or I'm going to study one new rule every week. Take that time to become familiar with the language of the rules, with your understanding of different rules. If there's parts that you're confused by, like maybe you say, hey, I can't understand fouls or how, go back and reread that chapter. Okay. Go back and understand so that you can speak to it intelligently. So that when you're speaking to a coach about why you called something or why you didn't call something, you can use the words in the rules of the game right there. That'll help you. If you just try to use your own, you run into trouble. So take some time, study rules before a game. Focus on that. When you get in that assignment coming up and you say, okay, I'm gonna really nail that offside rule today. That's gonna be my focus. Or maybe I'm gonna say, hey, I really want to do good on clock management. That's something I've struggled with, and I'm gonna really focus on it. You go back and reread that rule, and then I go into the game and I'm ready to do that. Take
Dan,
some
can I
time.
add something real quick to that?
Please, Hunter, I want
I,
that.
I've been talking to a bunch of new referees lately that have just recently registered. Everybody that registers should get a referee, NFHS rule book that the Utah High
I don't know
School
if you can
Activity
see my
Association will
camera.
send out. There you go. Make sure
This
you
thing
get
right here,
that
guys.
if you haven't been mailed that. I don't know. Anyway, call the Utah High School Activity Association and make sure they mail you one. That's included in your registration fees, and use that to learn and memorize.
Yep. Guys, the difference between good and great referees is their knowledge of the rules. They're gonna be there's a lot of things, right? But obviously the ability to know these, to be able to recall these, to be able to speak to them, and rather than just be like, well, he kind of hit him, you can say, Coach, he challenged him in a careless manner, took out his legs. That's why I call it. It's a simple careless foul. Right? That sounds a lot better than just, well, he kind of got him, Coach. Think about how you can learn these things and be able to use them in your vocabulary with the refs, or excuse me, with coaches and with players. And like I said, it does help with your fellow referees. If they ask you, "Hey, Dan, why did you call this?" And I say, "Well, it kind of felt like it was a foul." That's not as credible as if I say, "Oh, I called this because the way he entered the challenge was aggressive. His leg was high. It was a he entered in a careless manner. It was reckless. That's why I carded it." Whatever I want to say, if I'm using the words from the rules of the game, it sounds a lot better. It sounds a lot more credible, and I feel a lot more credible when I do that too. Another thing, this one's important. Now you have games coming up. Some of you are already doing games outside of this too. But especially as you have games coming up, think about what your goals are. As an association, we really want to help you with these. And uh, if you have these goals when we come talk to you, or when somebody comes to watch a game, or even just when you have your crew showing up, you know what you want to focus on. And I don't care if you're terrible at foul recognition and you just say, "Hey, I want to do a really good job on calling offsides today." Offside, excuse me, then great. That's okay. That's how you learn. Everyone here has had games where they missed so many calls, but the only way you get better is by focusing on something and just being 1% better every single game. So that's my invitation to you is set goals for yourself to just be 1% better. You don't have to suddenly be able to go from not knowing the football understanding to suddenly knowing all 17 laws perfectly. I want you to be able to take a step. Feel comfortable to do that. If you're getting assignments that you don't think you're ready to do, well, then let Matt know, right? You shouldn't be doing that. But you have opportunities given to you as you're ready for them or as you're wanting them, and you can talk with us to get that. Any of you who've ref with me, you know that one of my favorite questions to ask as we're getting started or getting ready for a game is I ask you what you're working on. I'll tell you what I'm working on. That way we can be accountable to each other. It's not so that you can then bust my butt later in halftime or at the end, but it's also for me to improve. So then I can say, hey, Hunter, my focus on this game is recognizing careless fouls and dealing with them early on so that the game doesn't get out of hand later. And he can say, okay, great. And then by halftime or by the end of the game, I say, hey, that was my focus. Here's some of the ways that I felt I did good. And then Hunter might have some feedback for me too to say, hey, Dan, I really like when you did this. Or, hey, do you remember this part when this happened and you didn't do anything about it? I think that contributed to this card having happened later. If you share those goals with other people, it helps them get better. It helps you get better. And as a crew, you're more united, you're more focused. So I invite you to be thinking about that. If you are really committed to it as well, keep a referee journal where you actually write those down or you put them in a phone on a Google spreadsheet or excuse me, a doc or something like that. When you have those, when you set goals for yourself, when you reflect, you can learn so much and get so much better. And I've seen so many great referees who do that. They take every game right after they kind of get some feedback from their crew. They put their own personal reflection in there. And then the next game, they're going back to that last one and saying, okay, this is some of the things that went well. Here's some of the things that I felt I could have done better. So I'm going to focus on that in this game. And then I tell my refs that. I say, hey, this is what I'm working on. Hey, my signals have been really choppy of late. I really just want to make good signals, even if they're wrong. Fantastic. Your crew can help you with that. Okay. So again, keep your blocks, your schedule up to date. Take care of yourself physically. It also affects you how you are mentally, which leads into the rules book. Know what your rules are. That's mental, it's knowledge. You focus on that, you're going to be better at it, and then have goals for yourself so you continuously improve. We'll switch
Hey,
it over
Dan.
to Hamed. Give you some time. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I just want to actually go back to that last slide.
Nope.
There's a couple of
You
things I
bet.
want to. It's your appearance as well. I feel as far as make sure you're to the game 30 minutes early. Your appearance is very important. Also, introduce yourself to the coaches before you start the game, and also know where the teams are. Where is the ranking? How are they doing so far? So that way, it kind of gives you an idea if a top team is playing the worst team, what kind of you're expected as well.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Then
As
Jim,
far
yeah.
as Okay, perfect. Thanks, Sam. As far as the mentoring goes, so as far as our mentors go, we're going to have about 12 mentors going to be mentoring about 30 games. So I know this year is going to be only, it's not that many few games, but I mean, still 30 games. So I think this year we're going to be looking for 30 games, and the following season is going to be around 50 games. So as far as the mentors goes, please submit your availability so that way I could send out the schedule Thursday. So I am planning sending out schedule 2 weeks in advance. So as far as expectation goes for these mentors, they're out here to help you guys for the better of the game. So they're not, we're just all in one team. So as far as the five emphasis that we're going to work on, as far as this first season goes, on moving forward, it's going to be positioning and movement. That's going to be one of the emphasis we're going to be working on. It's going to be foul recognition, ability to recognize trifling, careless fouls, reckless, and excessive force. How are you doing that? And also teamwork and communication. How are you working with your peers? And the last two items going to be bench control. As far as how's that bench control when you're dealing with the coaches? Are we issuing caution? Are we issuing cards when we need to as well? And the last one's basically the expectation of these mentors. They're probably going to depends on the mentor and depends on the game. Sometimes a mentor will come in, give you 1 point at halftime, and we expect to basically make that adjustment in the second half. At the end of the game, we're going to probably give you two or three feedback as well. But that's kind of the expectation this first season as far as the mentors go. We're going to have about 30 games we're going to send our mentors out to. Go ahead, Dan.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ahmed.
Anything else, Hunter, you want to add as well?
Yeah, go ahead, Hunter. You can add and then jump into your section too.
No, other than just, finances is what's limited us to the games, to only 30 games this spring. And so we'll have more. That's where your dues goes towards when you pay your dues to the association. That's where that goes towards is the mentoring. And so, yeah, it's important that we get that done. We'll have more, like Hamed said, in the fall.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to send this link to someone else who just texted me. So I'm like, to the meeting. Okay. Anything else that you wanted to add about that, Hunter, Tayev, things like that?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, in terms
Yeah,
of
I'm like, this is your chance.
okay, here we go. I just want to talk real quick for about a minute on best practice for communication and how important it is to communicate with the referee crew. So in general, we would like the varsity, if you have a varsity and a junior varsity or a JV and a varsity back to back, whatever, if you have a varsity game, we'd like the center referee to take the initiative and either the day before or a minimum of the morning of the soccer game to reach out to the ref crew. The easiest way to do that is via text. And if everybody downloads the Arbiter Sports app, there's an easy way to log in and just click one button, and it opens up a text group to everybody that is on your game. So a couple of things about Arbiter Sports real quick. If you have the old Arbiter Sports and the icon is an A and an S, that is no longer being supported. They want you to download the new version, which looks more like a modern A. It's just a couple of lines, red and black lines. So that's the app that you want to use. Go to your Play Store or and download that app. And so it's also important that you enter in Arbiter, that you enter your cell phone so that we can communicate. And I see a lot of people entering their cell phone in something like the work phone field, and that may not get it, or their home phone. We need you to put your cell phone in as as your cell phone, so that when you hit that text button in Arbiter, it'll do that. And so the referee will just text the group and say, hey, looking forward to seeing everybody today or tomorrow on the game. We'll be here, and just set some expectations. Please arrive 30 minutes early. If you're running late, please, this is the text group to drop a note in to say you're running late. But just set expectations. Maybe talk about anything that Hamed said. Maybe standings, that hey, this is a regional game, and there's this big rivalry, so we need to be on our toes. Things like that. Anything that the referee wants to communicate beforehand. If you're getting to around noon, the day of the game, and if you're an assistant referee and you haven't heard from a text group, by all means start a text group and go ahead and do that. So communicate early, and it's best to over communicate than under communicate. The worst thing is to just show up 10, 20 minutes before the game starts and nobody knows where you are or anything like that. So if you're on a two-man crew, like a sophomore game or a freshman game or things like that, just somebody take the initiative and just text and say, hey, looking forward to our game tomorrow, things like that. If you don't have, if you only have the new yellow jersey and not the green jersey, that would be a great time to say ahead of time, hey, I don't have the green jersey yet. I only have the yellow high school jersey. So let's make sure we go yellow or whatever. So it's important to communicate. And so please, referees that are on that assignment, please take the initiative and text the group ahead of time. So tomorrow I'm at Copper Hills. And so tomorrow morning I'll text a quick group message. Just hit that button in Arbiter Sports on the app, and it'll just open up a text group. And I'll just go through and tell everybody kind of what I went over. And please arrive 30 minutes early. If you can't make it, let me know by 30 minutes and when you expect to be there. So it's important that we do that. So because 30 minutes goes really, really quick when you're introducing yourself to the coaches, warming up, stretching, things like that, making sure the game balls are ready. 30 minutes really does not give you a lot of time. So please, at a minimum, be 30 minutes early. So.
Absolutely. Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate that. Any questions, guys? If you have questions about what Hamed's brought up, what Hunter's brought up, or any of those points that I brought up, want to pause.
Hey, Dan, I just want to add in as well. So those mentors were going to be statewide. So we actually have a couple of mentors out in St. George. We actually have a couple of mentors out in Logan. So it's not just going to be the Salt Lake Valley. It's going to be statewide. And the hope is we're going to go from 12 mentors to eventually 20 mentors, and go from 30 games to 50 games. That's where the dues come in.
Great point.
Thanks,
No,
Dan.
I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Hamed.
I have just an ad on the phone number. I had issues getting notifications because I hadn't listed my cell provider in there. So you've got to actually list in Arbiter who your cell provider is. Otherwise, it won't send the text and everything like that.
That's good to know. Thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
That is. I haven't done it. I haven't done that in years, so I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Changed mine. I wonder if it still works. Okay, great. Well, Hunter, as long as you're Hunter, Hamed, and Michelle, as long as you guys are still monitoring the chat, I see that there's some things in there, but hopefully I just see that there's, the bubble with 8 or something. So hopefully nobody's asking questions there. But if they are, let me know. We're gonna jump into the next part. I want to talk rule. What I would like to do with some of these times is just focus on a rule. You're gonna get a lot of this. Sorry about my screen doing that. I don't know why I can't get rid of that. The goal is to have an opportunity to talk about some rule that applies to all of you. Obviously, all of them will, but majority of you are going to be doing a lot of assistant refereeing, and so we want to go over this, make sure that there's some understanding, and show a few clips, and then hopefully do that in about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll remainder of time will be a chance to show a clip. I'll share on the screen where the clips are, and then you guys can watch those, and we'll talk about them. But begin just offside. You're gonna find this in Rule 11. Sorry, it's Law 11 if you're talking IFAB, but since we're in high school, we're talking Rule 11. So, three forms of offside interactions, guys. Interfering with play, interfering with an opponent, or gaining an advantage. Right? And I actually meant to put this link here earlier. Go ahead and find that link. If you can type it in, I tried to shorten it. Sorry, there's no way to just kind of send it. If you can use your phone, or if you're not on your phone, you can try to use that URL. I actually did not test it, so I'm actually going to try it myself now, see if it works, but one can help. And we'll see if it worked for me. So
Dan,
hopefully
could
it's
you
working for
copy it
you.
and just put it in the chat for everyone?
That's a great idea, Wendell. I like that. I can try
That's
that.
why they pay me. Never mind.
That's why they pay the
They
big
they don't pay
bucks.
me. No, they don't pay me.
I'm just going to do it like this. Watch this.
The mediocre bucks.
K7. Watch this be case sensitive or something. There we go. Great call, Wendell. So there's a couple in there. Don't get too distracted. There's three folders in there. One says rule review. Rule review. I can speak English some days. So go to that one first, and we're going to talk about offside. So first clip is interfering with play. So it's IP. Sorry. You see GAIO and IP. So go ahead and click on that one. I will try to put it on here, but uh, it I've had mixed results with that. I feel like it lags too much. So instead, I'm actually just going to let each of you do that. I will try to load it. We'll play it at least once, but I'm going to give you a chance to watch it yourself, and then I'll play it once. If you can't see it on your own screen and it comes through Chop and Mayan, I apologize, but we'll try to explain what the principle is either as well. Excuse me. So let's see if I can find my. There we go. So interfering with play to begin. And you'll notice none of them have sound, so don't get freaked out if you're wondering why you don't have any sound. Okay. Gotta love the reaction of the player. So crosses it, it gets deflected out to there, and then at the kick point, you can see that 25, I think 25, maybe it's 23, is right there, and he just barely puts a toe on it to put it all the way into the goal. Right, here's another look at it again. Defender knocks it out to the other forward. He's going to take a little shot in, and 23 is just going to give it a little love right there and put it in the goal. At the time of the kick, 23 is offside. He's in an offside position, and because of that, because he deliberately touches the ball, we can call him for offside. You can see how close that one is. So, guys, I'm going to put that piece out there for the ARs. It is so important that you're in position, right? So important that you make sure you're hustling, you're following, and being as close as you can. Because if you're a little bit off, that play looks good. But if you're right on line, you can tell that he's in an offside position when the ball is passed from that other player. That's interfering with play. So, second one, interfering with an opponent. So, I'll give you a second to load that one and watch your own screen. In fact, maybe I'll just play it twice. And that way, those who aren't watching can see it here twice. So I know that some of you probably are paying attention to the fact that the guy was being grabbed a bit as he went into that challenge. Okay, I'll play it one more time for everybody here in the screen. Yeah, you got kick out and the pass. Score. So it's time of the kick. See where that white player is ahead of the second to last defender. Now notice, and I'll try to pause it right there. And let's admit to Okay. So guys, if you pay attention, you'll notice that, hey, white didn't touch it at all, right? The ball went straight through and it goes to the other forward. But in the laws of the game, what it says is a player in an offside position becomes involved in active play when they interfere with an opponent by preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the line of vision or challenging the opponent for a ball or clearly attempting to play a ball which is close when this action impacts on an opponent or making an obvious action which clearly impacts the ability of an opponent to play the ball. So in this case, you can see that they have ticked the boxes for a couple of those, right? They've impacted the play by an obvious action, right? I want to be careful. Sometimes we just say, hey, because they're kind of over here, they've impacted the play. And you can actually get some wonderful discussions in Discord on those. So it's good to talk through those. But in this case, right, he's right next to the ball. He's pulled this defender in. He's pulled the keeper out. He's right there. He's obviously he's making an obvious action where he could easily tap that ball and put it in and then he's kind of not because I imagine his teammates yelling, leave it, leave it, leave it, right? And now he has, by this action of his, brought the keeper out of position, and the other player can make a shot on goal, right? So he should be penalized for offside because at the time of the kick, he was in an offside position, regardless of his touching the ball or not. Questions on that?
Dan, I think that's a great thing to review is when you look in Rule 11, Article 4, there are four ways to interfere with an opponent. And this is Article 4B. And they've changed the wording here to make it almost word for word IFAB's definition of interfering with opponent. So this should be extremely familiar to all of us that are just, if we're just getting into high school soccer, this is extremely similar to the IFAB's definition. Read those four ways a player can interfere with an opponent. Challenging for an opponent for the ball, that simply means to compete or contest with an opponent for the ball. It doesn't mean that, like you said, Dan, they have to touch the ball. It doesn't mean that they have to physically engage with the opponent. If they're challenging, if they're making a motion towards the ball, challenging to compete or contest for the ball, that is actively interfering with play by interfering with an opponent. So
Correct.
four ways. Yep. And man, if you have a coach arguing with you, hey, my player never touched the ball, wouldn't that be great to say, coach, there's four ways to be involved in to interfere with an opponent, and this was way number two by challenging challenging an opponent for the ball.
Sounds a lot better, guys, than just saying, hey, he was off.
Yeah, he was off. No, coach, he was off. Why was he off?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now the last one. Sorry, I'm taking a little longer. This is my 7-minute mark, but gaining an advantage. This one can be a bit tricky, but it's the laws of the game state or the player is penalized if at the time the ball is touched or played by an opponent, excuse me, by a teammate, they gain an advantage by playing the ball or interfering with an opponent when it has, meaning that the ball has rebounded or been deflected off the crossbar, goalpost, match official, or an opponent, or two, been deliberately saved by any opponent. And that's any opponent, right? We're not talking about just a goalkeeper making a save. If the goalkeeper happens to be far up, and then he gets out of his area and the shot comes and there's a defender back there who makes a save and it gets knocked into another waiting offensive player, it's still offside. I apologize for the graininess of this one. We'll play it now. It's an old one. It's RSL again, too. Classics. Plus side, it's us taking away a goal from RSL's opponent, right? Okay, I'll play it one more time. This time I'll give
Yeah,
you a little
that's
more
Dallas,
information.
Dan. So hopefully Anthony Mason isn't on the call today.
Oh, whoopsie. Yeah, sorry. I shouldn't. Yeah, should have been
He
careful, huh?
better be on the call.
So, guys, he's coming up. He's playing the ball at the time of the kick, right there. The other player is ahead of the ball, right? He's ahead of the second to last defender and ahead of the ball. Both of those are important in determining that line, that offside line. And so here the replay will show you where that line is again at the time of the kick, right? Because that's what matters. It's not that original pass, it's this touch right there, right? And so you can see he's just ahead. If you're not in position as an AR, you're beat. The keeper makes a save, which deflects to that player who's in an offside position. By being in an offside position there, he is gaining advantage in getting the ball. Therefore, he should be penalized for offside for an offside infraction. Questions on that? There are millions of better clips, and for whatever reason, I couldn't find any.
Dan, I think a visual like that is a really good reminder that we need to watch the entire line, not just one single player that's playing the ball. You got to watch the entire line for situations like that. That's
That's
something
a great call.
that's something I've watched. I've really tried to coach youth officials that I've worked with in UISA and stuff like that.
That's a great point there, Dale. Thank you so much. Right, look at what's going on here, guys. Right, that second to last defender. I mean, those three are kind of practically even, and yet the other player's just ahead. He's got the ball. You've got another player. There's a lot to pay attention to, guys, and this is why it's not just super easy to be an AR. You have to be paying attention to the fact that, hey, he's playing the ball. He received it in an onside position. He's now taking a shot with it. And so you have to be, and not only that, he's taking a shot on goal. He's not passing to his teammate who you can tell is an offside, or hopefully you can see that when you're positioning as an AR. But then you have to be able to remember at this point now, hang on, that original kick, where'd it come from? What happened? So getting yourself in position, paying attention to the big picture, like Dale said, that'll prevent you from getting locked in on just this cool play and being like, oh, wow, there's a goal. But you'll be able to go back and say, wait a minute, no. He took the shot. And when he took that shot, this guy was off. I'm going to go back, put my flag up.
I think recognizing the, what could happen next or what's going to happen on the miss, where's the rebound going to go, where's the next play going to be, and thinking about that is going to help you recognize some of those things.
Absolutely.
Hey, we
Hey,
got some
Dan.
good questions. Whoops.
Sorry,
we got-
Dan. Go ahead, Hunter.
I was just going to say we got some good questions in the chat talking about this play here. Had the second player in white been behind the ball but still ahead of any defenders, would it still be offside? So yeah, if you
Great
notice
question.
here, they're past both attackers are past the second to last defender. If that player that eventually scores, if he was back, say like 1 yard, still in front of the other defenders, still closer to the goal line than all the red defenders, would that be offside?
If he is, guys, so yeah, right now he's in line with it, but let's imagine that he's actually back here. So
There you go.
behind the player, behind the ball, if he's there, he's still ahead of these defenders. Yes, he is onside because remember that the line, the first article, right? Law 11, excuse me, Rule 11, offside, Article 1, a player is in an offside position when nearer to the opponent's goal, over here, and then the ball, unless, so that's specifically referring to the ball right there, unless the player's in their own half or they're not nearer to the opponent's goal line than at least two opponents, which at this point we have one opponent and then all the rest are right there. So now we can say, hey, he's nearer to the goal line. Is the nearer to the ball? Is he ahead of the ball or is he behind the ball? Right. So good points.
Perfect. Yeah. And so as an AR, we usually just think, okay, we got to stay in line with the second to last defender. But in this case, the imaginary offside line is actually the ball, not the second to last defender. So we actually need to be 2 yards ahead of that second to last defender in line with the ball to be able to make this call correctly. Because, from our camera angle, it's hard to tell if the player's in an offside position or not, unless we have that yellow line drawn there. So yes, even more reason to be in the correct position as an assistant referee. And then we have another question here. sometimes players know that they're offside and stop playing and don't touch the ball. If they don't touch the ball, so assume that player that eventually scores here on the right hand side, if they don't touch the ball and don't interfere with an opponent, and another player receives the ball, do you play or call it?
Good question. You
So
don't, guys. If they're not
yeah,
involved in play, remember, did they interfere with play? Do they interfere with an opponent? Do they gain an advantage? If they haven't committed one of those three infractions, then they cannot be penalized for being in an offside position. And that's one of the things that it clearly states too. Now I'm thinking the the yes, there it is, Article 3. I'm like, I know it's in here, but it's in a different spot.
And
Article 3, guys, it is not an offense in itself to be in an offside position. You
and
know players all over the world who do it.
the caveat there is if they make an action that has a clear impact on an opponent. So
Correct.
if you're saying they don't touch the ball, their actions may impact the opponent, and that's where you have to make the judgment call of if they're 2 feet from the keeper, they're probably impacting the keeper. But
Yeah,
if there's no
absolutely.
action, then you're good.
So we're
yeah.
going to jump into some of these. We won't be able to get into the foul ones, but we'll take some time instead to go through the offside ones. I think this will be a good chance to review these. What I want to do with this, guys, is I want this to be a chance for other people who haven't spoken up to try it. Don't be afraid about getting it wrong. The whole point of this is to talk through things, to hear other people talk through them, and to learn from them. So go watch offside clip one. What we're going to do in this is focus on is it offside or not, right? I can throw the slideshow up, but you can see it on my screen. I'm going to go back to the videos so that you have those. So offside clip one, I'll play it here twice. Watch it on your own screens too if you want, and then we'll talk. Play it one more time. So this is right off of a throw in right here. This player number 18 has just thrown in the ball.
There's no offside on a throw in, Dan.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Is there somebody who hasn't spoken up yet, not to single Wendell and Dale out, but somebody else who would like to give me their idea on this one? And next webinar, guys, we'll actually do the poll. I didn't do one this time. I figured there's a lot of people who haven't done that kind of thing before, but what we'll do is we'll actually put up a poll there. You get to vote on it and say, yeah, I think it's offside. I don't think it's offside, or it's off. I think it's a PK, whatever you want, right? But of the options there. So anybody want to take this first one?
I'll take it.
All right, go ahead, Josh.
So I've got this as a deflection, not a deliberate play by the defender. The blue player is in an offside position when the first ball is played. For me, this is an offside offense by getting involved.
Okay. So Josh says that this is offside because it deflects off of this player and it's interfering with play. Does anybody else have a different take on that or another explanation they want to offer to it? Does anyone here think it's not offside?
Hey, Dan, this is
Yeah.
Calvin.
Hey, Calvin.
Just something that I've added in there as well is just the distance that the ball is being kicked from the defender that it plays a factor with me when I am in an IR position. Is that in a lot of ways that defender is not responding; they're reacting. And I hope that's good choice of words. Just the distance.
Great
makes
choice
a
of words.
difference.
I love it. Thanks, Calvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't spend too long. I mean, that's a pretty clear one where you can see, thankfully, the screen shows us. Here's the line. She's off. At the time of the kick, like Calvin said and Josh, that ball is being played by this attacker here, and it's more of a reaction than a deliberate touch, right? If that player one of the things they'll talk about, and I don't want to go too deep into the rabbit hole on a lot of these considerations. That's something I want you to take some time when you study Law 11, Rule 11. But they talk about time and space. How much time is there between when that player takes that ball to when when the forward, the attacker plays that ball to when the defender receives it, right? Is it a bang bang, and like she doesn't have any time to react? Does she only have time to react, or does she have time to settle herself, gather herself, contort her body, get ready to receive it, and she just makes a bad play? And like they both brought up, you see, she's kind of sticking a leg out there as she's kind of going on her side. That's not a controlled play on the ball. And it goes off to a player who's in an offside position, but because she's not deliberately played it, she is in that place both played the ball and gained an advantage off of that deflection. But yeah, she's uh, offside. Good explanation, Josh. Great consideration there, Calvin. Let's move to the next one. Clip 2. Wait, one more time for you guys here.
This one's interesting. We got extra considerations.
I know I really wanted to do more with this one, but I thought it was also good for what it was for the first part. I'll do it one more time. It's a short enough clip. Especially with that replay on that last touch there on the last challenge. Okay, somebody new. Feeling
I'll take it.
good. All right, Rex, go ahead.
Uh, he's clearly in an offside position when the ball comes to him. So there's not much debate here. Uh, as ARs, we're told to be slow with the flag. But in this instance, I think a fast flag would help everyone know this is what happened. The referee can point to the AR and go, hey, you've got no argument here, my friend. We've got you in an offside position. He's looking for a PK call, obviously. But yeah, it's I like a quicker flag, especially when we're going to be in a position where we're going to have a collision of some sort. And in this case, I wouldn't mind a quick flag. Thank you very much for that information.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
so
Rex,
Rex,
what's
you think it's offside, and what kind? If you're saying it's offside, then what kind of offside offense is it? If we're looking at those three categories.
Well, it could be he's certainly attempting to play the ball. So he's doing an obvious action, if you will, to
Love it.
to
Okay.
make everybody go, oh crap. And that's why the defender fouls him, or looks like he fouls him anyway, because he's put himself in a position where, hey, I got the ball. You got to do something about it.
See, that would be the other interesting conversation to have on PK, no PK, but we're going to focus on offside. Great. Is there anyone else who has a separate opinion on this one or another explanation? Does anyone think that it's not offside? Good. Uh, Nobody should think this one. It's pretty obvious where the ball comes from. It's pretty obvious, like Rex said, that he's in an offside position. And to Rex's point about a quick flag, that is a great thing to cover in a pregame. To be able to say, if we have situations like this, ref, how do you want it? How do you want information? Right? Do you want me to? Because these are big moments in games, right? You have an opportunity for a goal. That gets people excited. He's going down in the penalty area. That really gets people excited. And then the whole other team is confident that he's offside. That also gets them excited when now you're blowing your whistle when there's a couple things that have happened. So this is a good moment to slow it down and get it right and work as a crew to communicate effectively and say, okay, yeah, we have this. It's offside. Now, if he weren't offside, if he had been matched up, then you have that other conversation now where you say, hey, is this a penalty? Is this not a penalty? What do I think? What do I have? So we won't dig into that, but a lot of fun considerations to think about with one like this. This is the second one. Jump to the third. I think the third. Hang on, I want to make sure I go to the right one actually. Yeah, let's do the third one. We started out with some easy ones. I should have cropped the end, but I'll give you guys this one. It's just too grainy to be able to challenge you with that. Sorry, it is RSL yet again. Okay, blink and you miss it. I'll play one more time and then somebody new get ready to answer this one. Okay, who wants this one? Somebody new, anybody who feels like they could speak to this one, whether it's offside or not, and what type of offside infraction it is, if so, or if it's not, why not?
I'll do it.
Oh, thanks, Dyson. Jump right on in.
I would say it is not offsides due to the defensive team deliberately kicking it back.
Okay, but doesn't he gain an advantage because he's in an offside position?
The offsides is irrelevant because the defender kicked it back with the intentions of trying to get it away from that potential pass.
All right. Anybody think differently? Well done, Dyson. I was trying to step you up, but I knew I wouldn't be able to, so I should have just pushed harder, but I don't think you would have changed your mind anyway. 100%, guys. Remember, one of the key points here. So yes, is this player, let's actually Dyson. Is this player in an offside position?
Oh, clearly offsides.
Clearly. He is clearly offside. As an AR, we're just excited because we sit all game doing nothing and we're watching this guy and we're like, oh, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And you have to be locked in. You got to be paying attention because it would appear that all of these all these defenders did not realize it was their own teammate. Look at that. One, two, three, four, five. Every single one of them has their hand up saying it's off. And really, there's no question. He's over 10 yards off. But like Dyson said, the first thing is they are penalized, right? Article 4, a player is offside and penalized if at the time the ball touches or is played by a teammate. Red receives it from white, which you see in this little last part right here, right? White's playing that ball, not red. And so now, like Dyson said, it's not offside. White has played that ball backwards in an attempt to get it away from red, and unfortunately played it straight to another red player who was crazy offside. And because he receives it from an opponent, he can no longer be penalized for being offside.
Hey
Great.
Dan, I think this is very important as far as your pregame goes, because this is going to come down to the referee's decision. So
Yes.
you need to have that communication between your AR. Let the AR know, hey, this is a pass back. So that way you don't have your AR just stopping there with the flag up and looking like a deer in the lights. So that way you have that communication. It all comes on the pregame, but also verbalize, hey, pass back, pass back, pass back, put the flag down. That way we don't have that stop and go and the confusion.
It's a great point, Hamid. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, this is one that does not work if the center isn't pass back deliberate, right? Putting the hand to say, hey, put the flag down. Because, yeah, as an AR, I might miss that too, right? It's far enough away, and I'm like, hey, who hit that? I can't tell. But as an AR, guys, if there's a question there, remember it and don't put your flag up if you're not certain on that one. We're like, hey, a white might have gotten that. I'm going to keep going because you don't want to stop, like Ahmed said, and then suddenly be out of position for an even bigger play or another bigger problem. Because let's say you stop because you think it's off, and then the play continues, and now keeper comes out and just destroys this player, as we've seen so many times, especially in high school boys. And now we're figuring out, hey, do we have offside? Do we have a penalty kick? Do we have do we have a dog so red card? What do we have going on here? So beware, communicate with each other, figure out in the pregame. I want to do one more. Sorry, I know we're right at time. I'm going to do one more that I want to just be. This is an important one that we think. So go 4, and then we can start wrapping up. The end kind of gets a little grainy on that video, but another time.
But the end gives us a much better perspective too.
It does.
Yeah, behind the goal on that one really is helpful.
Yep.
There's kick point.
Which is why it's so important to communicate between the referee and the assistant referee.
Okay. Somebody new. Feel like taking this one. And guys, I especially don't want any of you, even if you don't know fully or if you think, don't worry if you're wrong. I think it's a good chance to be able to speak up and say, this is what I think and here's why. It's how we learn. The best way I've learned is by making the worst mistakes, guys. And so, and those were during an actual game, not on a video clip review on a call like this. So feel free, please, even if you're not 100% sure, to speak up.
Dan, I couldn't tell. Did that actually hit his foot? I'm looking on my phone and it's super grainy.
Great question. It did not. Great question, Ryan.
So I guess since I'm on, I'll already answer. If it doesn't touch him, then no, I'm not going offside. He's not
Okay.
blocking the keeper's line of vision. He's not affecting a defender because the defender's stepping away from him. So I don't have him affecting the play in any way. So I'm going to go good goal.
Okay. I like that explanation. I like, again, guys, look at how he's using the words of the rule book to his as part of his explanation and his considerations. Does somebody new, none of the previous
Dang you,
6,
Dan.
whatever, want to offer a counterpoint or a further consideration? There's Eric right at time at the very end.
Dang you and you're somebody new.
Somebody. Carl? Thought you said something. I thought you wanted to talk about it. Okay, well, Dale, if you want to give it a shot, did you have a thought on that one?
Yeah, I think he impedes the keeper's view of the play. From my perspective of it, from what I can see, I think the player that dodges the ball, I think he impedes the keeper's view of the play. It's hard to tell from the angle and the clip for sure, but to me, it looks like he's impeding his view, which therefore he would be impacting the play from an
Great
offside
consideration.
position.
And he's in an offside position. That's the key there, right?
Yes.
At the time of the kick, and there's the kick point, he is in an offside position. Okay.
It's
Anybody
hard to
else
tell
wants
from that
to-
angle, but that's how I would go.
No, that's a great point. I'll zoom in on that point. Let's see, there it was. I had kick point. That's pretty close enough to kick point. Okay.
His own player is also impeding his view, but I think the attacking player in the offside position is impeding it, which then makes it an offside. His own player can impede it all they want, and there's no penalty, of course, or no foul. But when the attacking player is impeding, that's where it gets sticky.
Great points. Thanks, Dale. And thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate both those. Guys, I think this is why I wanted this one. Both of those are great reasons for why this one can be such a tricky call, especially because to Hunter's point earlier, this is where you need both teammates working very well. The referee needs to be able to determine from where he or she is positioned whether or not this player can impact or interfere with that opponent. And the assistant referee needs to be positioned so that they can provide the information that, yes, this player right there is in an offside position at the time of the kick. Because neither one of them has the full puzzle. The referee at a position like this and at the time and the movement of everything can't be 100% certain that that black player is in an offside position. And the assistant referee can't be 100% certain whether or not that black player affects play or deliberately interferes with interferes with an opponent from line of sight. So this one, what I would say is in a situation like this, and especially in high school, the higher levels it switches a bit, but high school play like this one, the direction would be to call this one as an offside because the player is in a position where he is impacting the goalkeeper's ability to anticipate, to see the ball, and to make a play on it. Some of the considerations to that is because of how close he is to the keeper, right? He's a 2 to 3 yards away. At the time of the kick, you can see he is sticking a foot up so it barely misses him. It's going on that outside foot. So we know that there's some level of blocking the line of sight of the keeper there, or at least some of the anticipation of where the ball's coming. I recognize the case of saying, hey, there's 4 other players there that could be doing it too. In a situation like this, the direction is to give that offside call because he is impact the ability of the keeper to make a save or make a play on that ball.
Hey, Dan, and I think we also need to look at the speed of the shot as well. Like this is not as fast. So that way the keeper does have that reaction to save that. If the shot is an upper 90, the keeper does not have that same reaction. Or if the shot is on the other side, on the left side, upper 90, we're not going to call that offside. This decision, the speed of the shot is pretty low. So the keeper does have that chance to make that play if that play does not interfere with this.
It's bouncing, guys. I don't know if it's easy to tell from that. This is a bouncing shot.
It's a half volley, right?
Say it again?
It's a half volley.
Yeah, half volley, right? He's putting it on the ground too so that he can hopefully, avoid those players, right? Because he's got two players he's thrown in traffic and he's got his own player to kind of worry about. Plays like that, guys. Ball ends up in the back of the net. Stop. Go talk to your assistant referee. Work together. Share the puzzle pieces. Figure it out. Be aligned when you go from there, right? If you're in a disagreement, you have to go with what the referee says. You support him or her. You nod yes, and you go with whatever the decision is at that point, okay, that the referee's stated. Guys, appreciate the time that you've joined us for this call. I hope it was beneficial. The goal, again, is we can find clips, we can find ways to help review things, but please, in your own time, go study the laws of the game, go find clips. If you have some from your game, remember when they happened. For a couple reasons, so that you can write it down and go get the recording from this high school, or that you can talk about it with other referees on your crew. And especially what I would love is if you have those to send them to me and say, hey, Dan, I had this weird clip at the 23rd minute of play. Can you review it and tell me what you think? Not to put him too much on the spot, Ryan Hoyt does this a bunch to me and I love it. He'll send me these clips and say, what do you think about this? And we can go through it and I can say, hey, this is what I think. What do you think? And there's not always a clear-cut right answer. It's not always so cut and dry as that's clearly offside, that's clearly a foul, that's clearly this. Sometimes there's a lot of considerations, and we learn from being able to discuss those together. So take time, learn from these, learn from your own games, and apply it to the next games. Hunter, Med, anything you'd add? Closing out? Michelle?
Nope, I think you covered it well. Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Guys, appreciate you all.
Hey, Dan.
Uh-huh.
I sent you a question, a direct message.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Do you know what I can do? Because I've used up my attempts now. And it was not a good idea to take the test with a concussion, you know.
You were just fine. I haven't looked at it. I could pull it up here, but my guess, based off of what you're saying there, reach out to Jeff Clough and he can reset it for you and open it so that you can take it.
Okay, because I'm like, I need to get it done. They've been hounding me, but I'm just like,
Yes,
I'm still battling
absolutely.
this.
Yeah, you can
And
absolutely do that. So if you don't have his email, shoot me a text afterwards, and I can get that to you.
or what is your number? Or I could just send you my
No, I'll put it in the
number.
chat here. I'll put it in the chat here because I don't mind, and I actually want everyone to have it. So
Okay.
that, and I'll leave the recording for that fact here. Guys, yes, that's a Colorado number. Go Avs, go Nuggets. I think they're still winning. Uh,
The
8
Nuggets
seconds
are
left.
losing to the Jazz, I think.
They're up by 3 with 1 second left, according to my phone. But if it lied, I'm sorry. There you go. That's my phone number, guys. You can send me video clips. You can shoot me texts. You can call me. If I don't answer, don't take it personally. It might just be I'm in something. But I'm very flexible in my schedule, and I will try to respond as soon as I can. And if I don't, text me again. I'm usually really good at texting. So uh, that I'm going to stop the recording, but we'll hang out for a moment